Hey everyone, welcome back to Reeling for Cinema, and this time we're going to be reviewing The Substance. Now, I thought this movie was really good, especially the first two-thirds of the movie, I'd say. I mean, this movie was oozing with style. It had a very up-close, personal feel, also kind of grotesque in general. The way the film was made was grotesque. I mean, you just see the camera angles that Dennis Quaid's in. I showed my mom a video of Dennis Quaid going to the bathroom and his face is just like right up to the camera talking, and just that feeling in general, just that feeling that all these close-ups give in this movie, like where Dennis Quaid's eating prawns, or just the film overall, it just gives a very uncomfortable, disgusting feel. And I mean, I kind of liked it. It was really interesting. It was riveting. I think the editing in this movie, I think this movie got snubbed for best editing by a long shot. It was so kinetic. It was so stylistic. It just completely wraps you and encapsulates you into the movie. You can't look away. I think that's the pinnacle of editing. It just keeps you engaged. But I talked about the video editing, but what goes hand in hand with that is that killer sound design. I mean, they just went for it. They went and made the most disgusting and repulsive sound design. I mean, you just have to hear for yourself.
People just love that. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Essentially, they did their job to a T. And then I think Demi Moore did a fantastic job playing a role that is probably close to home. She's a aging star in her 50s, and she's playing one in the movie. And I really like the theme of the unrealistic beauty standards, and the way they portray it in the movie is really interesting with the substance and how it creates another you, essentially. And there's a little gray area there if it really is you or somebody else, or which I kind of like that they leave it up in the air. Well, I do feel like they could have explained a little bit more, give some clarity about where it came from and what, but that probably was not the intention of the film anyway. It's a very theme-heavy film, trying to bring home the theme of unrealistic body standards. And it's, like I said, it's very close up, it's very disgusting, it's very personal, and it pretty much just occurs in Demi Moore's character's apartment and her going through all these insecurities and how her pride is affecting her, as well as feeling so good in this younger body and not wanting to be able to ever go back to what she used to be. You could see that while they are supposedly the same person, they are at war with each other and essentially destroying each other. You see that throughout the film. I mean, I gotta tell you, this is a gross film. If you like body horror, I'm not a big fan of body horror, but I really wanted to watch this movie because it seemed interesting. But if you're into this body horror, disgusting stuff, you'll like the movie for sure. It gets a little crazy at the end, a little ridiculous. That's one of my only gripes with the movie. I mean, the gore is like off the charts, but it's, prosthetics. It looks fake to an extent. To me, I was like, this is a little much, but some people might really like that kind of stuff, so I don't know. I think it did a really good job story-wise, keeping it interesting. With this kind of concept, it can start dragging on and getting very boring, but they kept introducing something new that would occur with Demi Moore and her other self. And while she's kind of sucking the life out of the older self, there are some other things that are introduced where you're like, oh, maybe she'll snap out of it. Maybe she won't try to destroy herself. Maybe she'll actually live her life the way it's intended, or maybe not. So that kind of questioning whether she's going to do this or not is really what keeps the viewer engaged. And I think up until the end, they do it really good. And I was talking about Dennis Quaid before. I can't see Dennis Quaid the same. I mean, he was just, it was hilarious. He had a great performance, over the top. Kind of remind me of the Cat in the Hat, weirdly. I don't know. There's a lot of weird performances in that Cat in the Hat movie. It reminded me of that. The aesthetic, also very interesting production design with the retro 80s feel. Also, the makeup was well-deserved Oscar for sure. I mean, they turn her into a literal abomination. There's so much just disgusting stuff going on with it. It's crazy. Yeah, if you like body horror movies, this is a really, really good one. Like I said, I'm not a big fan personally, but I could still see the quality in the filmmaking and just how much passion went into this project. So I'm going to give The Substance a highly recommend. Thank you for watching, and please comment your thoughts down below and like and subscribe.